What? The purifying demonic lotus flame was deliberately sealed. Its purpose was to let everyone slaughter one another, while it calmly reaped the benefits like a fisherman watching the fight. Such scheming was truly terrifying. Returning to the previous scene, the instant Xiaoyan hurled out the black pillar of light, a cold snort rang out from old demon Hun Mo. Within that snort was an immensely powerful soul attack, causing many people to feel dizzy in an instant. Late-stage 5-star Dusheng, this old monster's strength was simply too horrifying. A sharp pain rang in Xiaoyan's ears as well, and shock surged through his heart. As the cold snort faded, old demon Hun Mo's figure vanished instantly. In the next moment, he appeared directly in the path of the approaching light pillar. Just as his palm was about to touch it, the surrounding space suddenly underwent an eerie transformation. Amid violent spatial fluctuations, his body inconceivably appeared at the location of the green ox herd boy, while the herd boy himself stood where Hun Mo had been moments ago. The bizarre scene was as if their positions had been swapped in an instant. Spatial displacement. 6-star Dosheng. You actually broke through to 6 stars. Old demon Hun Mo froze in place, then cried out in terror moments later. Faced with the exclamation, the green ox herd boy paid him no heed. Grasping the black light pillar, he calmly examined the heavenly flame source within. Old monster, do you truly intend to become an enemy of the Hun clan? Hun Mo asked sharply, his expression dark, utterly foolish. The herd boy glanced at him and shook his head with a sigh. Then quite casually he tossed the light pillar into the sky. Hun Mo was overjoyed and prepared to seize it, but the herd boy's next words made him recoil in alarm. Purifying demonic lotus flame. You truly deserve your rank as 3rd on the heavenly flame ranking. You allowed yourself to be sealed on purpose, just to watch them slaughter one another, while you alone sat back to harvest the spoils. You hid deeply, but you cannot deceive me. Come out. His calm voice echoed slowly, yet the expressions of everyone present changed drastically. Pairs of eyes stared in horror at the churning black light pillar in the sky. The purifying demonic lotus flame was deliberately captured. How could this be possible? The experts who had previously joined forces were pale with shock, whispering among themselves. If this were true, then the purifying demonic lotus flame was simply too terrifying. A heavenly flame capable of scheming against humans. Even figures of their caliber had never encountered such a thing. Nonsense. No matter how powerful the purifying demonic lotus flame is, once trapped by our Hun clan's myriad souls heaven lock, escape is absolutely impossible. The Hall of Souls Hall Master retorted grimly. Beside him, old demon Hun Mo stared at the black light pillar, but did not voice any objection. He had interacted frequently with the Pill Tower ancestor, and knew well that the latter would never speak without basis. Facing the suspicious gazes of the crowd, the Pill Tower ancestor offered no explanation, merely observing the surging black light pillar in silence. After a while, seeing that it showed no reaction, he said calmly, "Since you refuse to appear on your own, I will be forced to act personally." As his words fell, he lightly flicked his finger. A black line shot forth from his fingertip, racing toward the black light pillar. Just as it was about to strike, the sealed heavenly flame source suddenly trembled violently. In the stunned gazes of the crowd, the black light pillar exploded apart. Old monster, you've ruined my plans again. Are you courting death? Milky white flames engulfed the entire sky. A figure emerged from the sea of fire, the purifying demonic lotus flame clad in white robes. His face was icy and sinister, as he roared furiously at the Pill Tower ancestor below. Purifying demonic lotus flame, your actions are far too brutal. If you enter the central plains, you will surely bring calamity. That is precisely why, when the purifying demonic lotus saint reached the end of his lifespan, he chose to seal you away. Therefore you cannot leave this place. As the words fell, the Pill Tower ancestor appeared directly before the heavenly flame and continued. The seal established by the purifying demonic lotus saint is not easily broken. Even if you use the heaven and earth tidal force to tear open space, once the tide recedes, the seal will repair itself. As long as I delay you until that moment, you will be unable to escape. That depends on whether you have the ability. The purifying demonic lotus flame sneered coldly. His hand seals changed rapidly, and the surrounding milky white flames surged toward him, eventually forming a towering flame giant nearly 10,000 jang tall. Demonic flame divine statue. Old bastard die. Standing atop the statue's head, the purifying demonic lotus flame gazed coldly at the crowd below, a sinister smile curling on his lips. The flame giant raised its enormous fist and smashed it toward the Pill Tower ancestor. Facing such destructive power, the faces of Xiaoyan and the others turned pale. That punch, whether Ziyan or Gunanhai, if forced to block it alone, would be reduced to dust instantly. Suspended in the sky, the Pill Tower ancestor opened his mouth and spat forth dazzling golden light, which instantly transformed into a massive radiant barrier. Boom! The mountain-sized fist crashed violently into the golden screen. Pill Fusion Heaven. The Pill Tower ancestor raised a finger slightly. A drop of green blood shot toward the demonic flame divine statue and struck its chest like lightning. Green light spread rapidly, and over half of the statue was directly melted away. Seeing this, the purifying demonic lotus flame flew into a rage. Old ghost, anyone who dares stop me today will be refined alive. Your true body is a pill. I want to see what you become. After I refine you once again. He threw his head back and howled, then shot upward into the sky. Countless milky white flame threads burst forth, covering the heavens. Refining heaven, ancient array appear. As the flames pierced deep into space, the crowd watched in horror as an enormous flame array tens of thousands of zhang wide slowly emerged from the void. At the same time, the endless sea of magma below churned violently, eventually rising into a colossal flame formation. Ha ha ha, old ghost, you never expected this, did you? The sealing array, personally set up by the purifying demonic Lotus Saint, has ultimately fallen under my control. Over these thousands of years, I have completely comprehended all its mysteries. Within this demonic flame space, who can possibly stand against me? The purifying demonic Lotus flame laughed wildly, as the heaven-covering ancient formation began to rotate slowly. This is serious trouble. Everyone who witnessed this could not help but draw in a sharp breath. The power of this terrifying array far surpassed the myriad souls heavenlock previously deployed by the Hall of Souls. The flame formation filled the sky like two colossal fire discs, one above and one below, sealing the entire space. Xiaoyan and the others were like ants trapped between them, insignificant and helpless. He can actually control the array set up by the purifying demonic Lotus Saint. Old Demon Hun Mo stared at the sudden change in disbelief. Moments later, he snapped back to his senses and turned his gaze toward the slowly rotating spatial gateway in the distance. That leads to the central plains. Retreat now. Old Demon Hun Mo reacted with astonishing decisiveness. Almost the instant the terrifying flame array completed its rotation, his expression changed drastically. Without the slightest hesitation, his figure flickered, and he was the first to charge toward the spatial passage, abandoning all thoughts of resistance. His retreat was like a fuse thrown into dry powder. The moment Hun Mo fled, panic spread uncontrollably through the battlefield. The remaining experts were no fools if a late-stage 5-star Do Sheng was choosing to escape. Then the situation had clearly surpassed the limits of what could be endured. One after another, the elders of the ancient clans turned pale, their eyes filled with fear and uncertainty. Though reluctance and hesitation flickered across their faces, survival ultimately prevailed. After only a brief pause, they clenched their teeth and rushed after him, disappearing into the spatial gateway in rapid succession. The once dominant battlefield instantly fell into chaos. Amidst the retreat, Jun and the others remained rooted in place. Their brows were tightly furrowed, hearts heavy with unease, as their gazes instinctively shifted toward Xiaoyan. At that moment he stood unmoving, one hand pressed firmly against his forehead. His breathing was uneven, and beneath his usually composed expression, a faint but unmistakable trace of pain surfaced, as though something deep within him was violently stirring. On the verge of breaking free, something was about to happen.